Welcome to Rugby Obsession, the podcast for everyone who just lives and breathes rugby, you know?
Absolutely.
And if you're loving this deep dive, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
That's right.
So today we are tackling the news of AfriSam extending their partnership with SA Rugby.
Big news.
It is huge news.
Yeah.
They've been a sponsor of the Springboks, but now they're going to be supporting the Springbok Women, both the men's and the women's sevens teams, and the Junior Springboks.
Wow, that is a commitment.
So this is pretty big news, and I am so excited to break it down with you.
Me too.
So what jumps out at you about this development?
Well, I think what is so fascinating is you've got a company that's known for construction materials, cement and concrete.
Right.
And they're aligning themselves with the strength and resilience of rugby.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're laying a solid foundation here.
Yeah.
Which is just so clever.
Yeah.
You know how it ties into their product. So I think it's something that's really going to resonate with fans on kind of a deeper level,
For sure.
You've got this kind of tangible strength of concrete, and then you've got the grit and determination that we see on the rugby field.
Exactly. It's not just about throwing money at a popular sport. There's a real kind of thoughtfulness behind this partnership.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of a well-constructed message, the article we're looking at quotes AfriSam's CEO, Eric Dyack, talking about shared values, teamwork, perseverance, strength.
Yeah.
I mean, these values are at the heart of rugby, right?
Absolutely.
And I bet they really struck a chord with you as a fan.
Of course.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
These are the values that draw so many people to rugby in the first place.
Right.
And they're also, crucial for success in any field, right?
Absolutely.
So I think what AfriSam is doing here is really smart. They're aligning their brand with these kind of deeply held values. And I think by supporting all levels of South African rugby, from the grassroots to the elite, they're really demonstrating a commitment to nurturing talent and fostering these values in the next generation of players.
I'm totally with you there. It's a real investment in the future of the sport.
Sure.
And, the article really emphasizes AfriSam's dedication to building a stronger South Africa on and off the field.
Right.
So this kind of suggests a broader vision, beyond just rugby. So what do you think this means in practical terms?
I think it hints at a desire to create a lasting impact on South African society as a whole.
Okay.
We might see initiatives aimed at using rugby to address social issues, maybe promote education or support community development.
Yeah.
Imagine AfriSam partnering with local rugby clubs to create after-school programs or sponsoring initiatives to bring rugby to underserved communities.
Yeah.
That would be such a powerful way to leverage the unifying power of sport.
It is exciting to think about the possibilities, isn't it?
It is.
This partnership could be a real catalyst for positive change, reaching way beyond the rugby pitch.
Yeah.
And if you're enjoying this discussion as much as we are, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more in-depth analysis of everything happening in the rugby world.
Absolutely.
So speaking of impact, let's kind of consider what AfriSam gets out of this expanded partnership.
Yeah.
Because it goes beyond just simple brand visibility, doesn't it?
It does.
They're positioning themselves as more than just a cement company.
Right.
By supporting all levels of rugby, they're aligning themselves with the dreams and aspirations of a whole nation.
Yeah.
It's a powerful message of commitment and belief in South Africa's potential.
It is.
So what do you think are some specific ways this partnership could benefit them?
Well, I think by associating themselves with a sport that's so deeply ingrained in South African culture, they're tapping into a powerful emotional connection.
Right.
And I think this can lead to increased brand loyalty, attracting customers who admire their support for national pride and community development. We could even see AfriSam becoming synonymous with rugby, further solidifying their presence in the South African market.
It's a clever strategy.
Yeah.
They're not just sponsoring a sport. They're investing in a shared future.
They are.
It's really interesting to think about how this is all going to play out in the long run.
Yeah.
Because it's about building a legacy that goes way beyond just winning rugby matches.
Yeah, it does.
So what are some of the potential long-term benefits that you see emerging from this partnership for both sides?
Well, for SA Rugby, I think consistent funding across all levels could lead to significant improvements in player development, coaching infrastructure, and, even South Africa's standing in global rugby.
Right.
We might see a surge in talent emerging from these programs, contributing to stronger national teams and greater international success.
That's what we all want to see.
Absolutely. And For AfriSam, this consistent association with positive change and national pride could translate into a more robust and loyal customer base, solidifying their position as a company invested in South Africa's future.
This is a partnership with the potential to leave a lasting impact on both the sport and the nation.
It really is.
So,
Yeah. This partnership, I think, could be a real game changer, quite literally, for South African rugby. Imagine the impact on player development, particularly at the grassroots level.
oh yeah, for sure. Consistent financial support can make a real difference when it comes to nurturing young talent and creating pathways for players to reach their full potential.
Exactly. We could see, a surge in skilled players coming through the ranks, benefiting not only the national teams, but also strengthening domestic competitions and raising the overall standard of rugby in South Africa.
It's like planting seeds for a thriving rugby ecosystem. And it's not just about the players. This partnership could also lead to significant investment in coaching development.
Oh, absolutely. High quality coaching is essential, for nurturing talent and maximizing the potential of players at all levels. With AfriSam's support, SA Rugby could implement, comprehensive coaching education programs, bringing in international expertise, and really creating a new generation of skilled coaches who can guide players to success.
Improved coaching,
Yeah.
better facilities, more opportunities for young players. It's a recipe for a brighter future for South African rugby.
It is.
And, it's not just about domestic success. This partnership could have a ripple effect on South Africa's performance on the international stage.
Right.
And that's what we're all about, right?
Of course.
Every South African rugby fan dreams of seeing the Springboks lift the Webb Ellis Cup again.
Yeah.
Could this partnership be the key to unlocking that potential?
Well, it's certainly a step in the right direction. I think, a well-funded and structured development system combined with expert coaching can produce world-class players who are capable of competing at the highest level.
Right.
So we could see South Africa, reclaiming its position as a dominant force in world rugby.
It's a tantalizing prospect, and I know our listeners are eager to hear more. So if you are enjoying this deep dive into the world of rugby, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more insightful discussions like this one.
Definitely. And speaking of our listeners, I would love to hear their thoughts on this partnership.
Oh, yeah.
What are your hopes and expectations? Do you think this will lead to a golden age for South African rugby? Share your comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.
That is a great idea. We always love hearing from our passionate rugby community. So now let's kind of flip the script for a moment and consider the potential challenges or concerns surrounding this partnership.
Okay.
Is there anything that gives you pause or that you think warrants a closer look?
That's a great point. I think while the potential benefits are undeniable, it's important to consider, the potential downsides. And I think one concern could be the influence of corporate sponsorship on rugby decisions.
That's a valid concern. How can we make sure that the integrity of the sport is protected and that decisions are made in the best interests of rugby and not just the sponsor's marketing objectives?
Well, I think transparency and open communication are key here.
Okay.
SA Rugby needs to maintain clear boundaries and ensure that AfriSam's input is welcomed, but doesn't dictate rugby decisions.
Right.
Regular dialogue with stakeholders, including players, coaches, and fans, can help ensure that everyone's voice is heard and that decisions are made collectively.
It's about striking a balance, right?
Yeah.
Leveraging the benefits of corporate support while safeguarding the soul of the sport.
Precisely. And I think another potential challenge is the distribution of resources.
You mean ensuring that the benefits of this partnership reach all levels of rugby, not just the high-profile teams?
Exactly. SA Rugby needs to implement, clear and equitable funding mechanisms to make sure that resources are allocated fairly and that all teams from grassroots to elite benefit from this partnership. Transparency in how funds are utilized is crucial, I think, to build trust and ensure that the investment translates into tangible improvements across the board.
It's about creating a level playing field where every aspiring rugby player has the opportunity to thrive regardless of their background or location.
Absolutely. And that's where AfriSam's commitment to building a stronger South Africa on and off the field really comes into play.
It's about creating a legacy that extends beyond the rugby pitch. using the sport as a catalyst for positive social change.
Precisely.
Yeah.
This partnership has the potential to create a ripple effect throughout South African society, empowering communities, fostering unity, and inspiring a generation of young people.
It's a powerful vision and one that we'll be following very closely. So we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
We have.
From the potential impact on player development and coaching to the broader, social implications.
Yeah.
It really seems like this partnership has the potential to be transformative.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's a bold move by AfriSam, and it really shows they get it. The role rugby plays in South Africa, they're not just looking for a quick marketing win here.
Right.
They want to be part of something bigger, a real force for positive change.
And that idea of building a stronger South Africa on and off the field, it really jumps out at me.
It's a great tagline.
It is. It suggests a real commitment that goes way beyond the typical sponsorship deal.
Absolutely. It speaks to a vision where rugby is a vehicle for social progress.
Okay.
A platform to really address issues like education inequality and community development.
Yeah.
Imagine if you can use the power of rugby to bring communities together to create opportunities for young people and to build a more inclusive society. That's the goal.
It's a powerful image. And it's exciting to think this partnership could be that catalyst for change.
It could be.
So what are some specific ways you see this playing out in the real world?
Well, we might see AfriSam sponsoring programs that use rugby to teach life skills and promote education, particularly for disadvantaged youth.
Yep.
They could partner with local communities to build or renovate rugby facilities so kids have a safe and accessible place to play and learn.
It's all about investing in the future. Right, not just of the sport, but of South Africa itself.
Exactly. And that resonates with fans.
It does.
Fans want to support companies that share their values, that are committed to making a real difference.
Right.
So by aligning themselves with these aspirations, AfriSam is tapping into that powerful emotional connection with consumers.
It really is a win-win situation.
Yeah.
AfriSam gets that brand loyalty and the positive associations.
Yeah.
While South African rugby gets the support it needs and a chance to make a difference.
It's amazing to see the power of sport to do good. And I think it reminds us that businesses can play a role in shaping a better future, too.
For sure. Well, for everyone out there who wants to stay up to date on all the latest rugby news, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession.
Yes.
We're going to keep following this partnership and everything it leads to, bringing you in-depth analysis and these kinds of insightful discussions.
And we're excited to see how it all unfolds and the positive impact it has on and off the field.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AfriSam's partnership with SA Rugby. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. And as always, we love to hear from you, so leave your comments down below and let us know what you think about this exciting development. Thanks for listening to the Rugby Obsession podcast, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.